Hey guys, Travis T here. Listen, before you start this recording, I figured I should let you know that the sound on my end sounds like crap. It's actually going to be for this episode and the next episode. Because for some reason, my computer keeps defaulting to the wrong microphone. I didn't catch it, and I do apologize. So bear with me at least over this episode and the next episode on the sound quality from my end. I just gotta make sure I check that before I record any more shows. So again, I do apologize for the sound. You can still hear me; it just has a weird sound to it. So again, I apologize, but I figured I'd let you guys know now before we dive into the show. So here we go.
We're back again. Now, back again. Oh, no, we're back again. Oh, back again.
What's up, everybody? I am Travis T.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome back to another episode of This Freakin Show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast that is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got them all. All you gotta do is go to CarterComics.com, check out their amazing selection of comics, fill up your cart with all the comics you're looking to buy, and right before you go hit checkout, use the discount code FREAKNET, FREAKNET. You'll save 10% in your entire order. Not just at their website, but they got 4 different eBay accounts that they have, and you can find links to all of those at the bottom of their homepage at CarterComics.com. Our discount code will work there, 10%, just by using FreakNet. Again, CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all your comic needs.
Very nice. Did I see they're running a sale this week?
They advertise a lot on their Facebook page. They put like a selection of them up and everything. They do it every so often.
Gotcha. All right.
Nice. Yeah, you're talking about because it was shared on our Facebook page, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just because I haven't been getting the comic of the week or comic of the month for them in quite some time. Obviously, everyone has realized that since we haven't really done it here on the show. So I think I'm just gonna, just share what they post on on their page, and kind of be like the featured comics of that moment and stuff like that. I thought those were pretty cool because they kind of had more of like a darker, spookier-esque feel to them, and since it doesn't matter what time of year it is on here, we always seem to always talk about This Freaky Show at some point or another. So it's like, it goes great with the theme of the one thing we talk about the most often throughout the year.
We're basically a Halloween podcast with other things hidden on top of it.
Oh yeah. The 4 or maybe 5 episodes a year out of the 50 that we do are the important ones. The other 45 are just kind of filler to buy time till it comes back again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've accepted that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, especially, and see, here we go. I'm gonna dive right into October real quick here, but I don't want to make the whole show about that. But like how we were kind of discussing over the last few weeks, everything, either both on the shows or on by ourselves. We're gonna try to create a whole mess of content that's going to be released throughout the month of October, especially multiple episodes going out in a week. Obviously the cemetery vlogs as we tour Wisconsin, but maybe even a couple of vlogs about the trip itself. Because we're gonna try to travel. I would say probably about 60% of Wisconsin. We're not going to the northwestern sides and everything. And I mean, if it was a little bit closer, maybe, but at least the central to southeast points of Wisconsin we're going to travel around. And it's still about 12 14 hours of driving, give or take, or a little bit more. I don't remember. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I figured we could, document our trip and stuff like that. So, this whole mess of stuff coming out in the month of October. And bright side is a lot of the additional videos will help us kind of catch up on this year because we are a little behind on the episode numbers and everything, hitting that 50. But since we last talked before our last episode, came up with a stupid idea. Didn't think you were going to go for it, but you did. And I'm proud of fucking that, by the way. Is I really want to catch up on what our official number is supposed to be for this freaking show, our official episode number. Because it's weird when, like, I sit down and I talk to people about podcasting, and mostly it's, at wrestling shows and talking about the JFW podcast. And, they always ask the same questions, like, well, how long have you been a podcast? And usually when you get that question, they don't listen to the show.
Right.
And then when you sit there and tell them, it's like, oh, I've been podcasting, JFW for 7 years. I've been on my other show for, I've been doing JFW for 6 years, but I've been doing my other show for 7. I'm like, oh, how many episodes do you have on and everything? And I was like, well, at that time, we were coming up to our 300th episode over here on this Freakin Show. And, they're like, only 300, huh? I was like, well, yeah. It's just, no, we should be at 8 years. I was right the first time. Yeah, 6 to 8. 8 years.
Yeah.
We'll be 8 years this year.
Yeah.
And I told him 300 episodes. I was like, well, only 300 episodes. It's like, yeah, we've had a lot of hiatuses and we missed some weeks and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's still almost 40 episodes a year.
Yeah. And I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. Oh, people are asking about it. Seemed like it's not enough.
Yeah. By first week in November, we should have been at 400 episodes. We're not. I think right now we're only at like 301 or something like that, or maybe even just 300. I think the last episode was our 300th episode.
I believe you're correct, yeah.
And which means, unless we really buckle down and do 100 episodes in the next 2.5 months, we ain't gonna hit 400.
Yeah.
But if we record how we decide we're going to, going forward, at least for the time being, we're gonna double down on shows weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we found that Saturday mornings for us right now is a pretty easy time frame for us to record. So if we record, 2 episodes a week, eventually we'll catch up. We'll catch up in, I don't know, half a year or a year, whatever the hell it is. And I'm okay with that goal because I would like to get to the point where I don't have to hear people say it's like, wow, you've been around for 8 years and you only got 300 episodes, which I think people find, I don't know why people find that weird.
I don't. I haven't
don't,
had that experience. Most people are like, wow, 300, that's a lot.
Yeah, I guess maybe my group of people aren't supportive. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was just a weird, like hearing that. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's true. We haven't done, because our whole thing is like 50 episodes a year, and we take the last 2 weeks off in December.
Right.
And in November we should have been hitting 400 and stuff like that. We just didn't. But just for the hell of it, I just want to reach that point. I just want to get to that point, And I remember like there were some people who would sit there and say it's like, well, I've only been podcasting, for 3 years, and I'm already catching up to the amount of episodes you have and stuff like that. And that's all well and good, but there's loopholes to that stuff, It's like
quality over quantity, man.
Yeah, when and it was weird is like, if when you look at the original concept of what we developed, the norm for us and everything, where we said like we're only gonna do 45-minute episodes and everything because we were out there doing hour and a halves and stuff like that. It's like we still didn't really commit to that because a lot of our episodes that came out even after that were still an hour and 20 minutes, or when we do the live streams are hour and 45s and stuff like that. So I think time-wise, we have a lot of content out there. I mean, we're not Joe Rogan, we'll never be Joe Rogan. We're never gonna, Unless, he just decides to flat out give up on podcasting now. I mean, we're still 800 episodes away from where he's at.
Dang.
So, yeah, I think he's at probably even more. I think he's at 1,200.
Well, he does a daily show and stuff, right?
Yeah, that dude, and he has guests, and that's what's nuts. His show's every couple days, and there's always a guest or somebody. He never does the solo shows. He's at, never mind. He's at 2,000 episodes. So
yeah, I don't think that he would be successful if he did a solo show. I don't think people just want to listen to him. I think they want to listen to his guests.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's where Rogan's at. I don't think he ever wants to be a solo guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's kind of his brand, though, right? Is he's the guy who'll talk to anybody, allegedly.
Yeah, and I've done solo episodes here. Between the hiatus we took and the I don't know, a few months before you or even Colin came back in 2018.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't like it because there's no one to play off of and there's no one to talk to. It's like you're sitting. It reminded me every time I got to my desk and I pressed record and I was just doing it on Audacity because there was no reason to do it on Skype or anything like that. And I'm just sitting there talking. It's like I either feel like a high school kid vlogging his life, or some lunatic in a basement trying to get ready for the apocalypse and wants to give his last will and testaments or some shit.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's I'm not talking with a group of people who are producing the show. It's just me, a microphone, and a computer.
Right. And, you are the people producing the show.
Yeah. It's what the fuck? It feels like I'm giving a manifesto or some shit or whatever. Is that what it's called? A manifesto?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. So no, and Joe, you did technically, you did at least one solo show by yourself.
That's true.
Which we never released.
Yeah, we didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you know which one? You remember which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one I used for a school project.
Yes. Yeah, I don't even know where that's at.
I don't know where it's at either.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think I have it on a flash drive somewhere, but I don't know. I haven't seen that flash drive in years.
Yeah. Well, I know I had to move all of our audio and stuff from. I don't understand how Google Drive works. I'm man enough to admit that stuff. I was always under the impression that we were saving it on your drive.
That's probably true.
But then I get a message from Derek a few months back saying that he needs me to move all this podcast stuff off of the drive because he needs the space for something or another.
Oh.
So I didn't understand what any of that meant.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Space on mine. I got 100 gigs over there.
I don't know where I moved. I don't know what I moved. I know what I moved. I just don't know where I moved it from, but I know I moved it from somewhere.
Right.
And all I know is it says This Freakin Show drive or whatever.
Interesting.
So I don't understand how that crap works, because I need to figure it out, because when we start shooting in October, I need to be able to move that stuff from my phone to the Google Drive so I can access it on my computer. I'm assuming that's how it works. I'm banking on that's how this works.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, I just I don't know where the hell I was going with that. Oh yeah, I don't want to do shows by myself. They're boring.
Yeah.
At least to me. That's why, even at that time, I tried doing everything I can to just have guests on. I just find somebody, get them on here, let's talk, and a fun experience. I got to meet a lot of cool new podcasters or content creators and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. As far as the new idea we have right here, yes, we're gonna do our absolute best to double down on episodes a week. So we're going to record on Saturday morning. Sometimes we're just going to do it ourselves. Sometimes we'll go on lives. Just however we feel and what we determine we want to do and everything. And this way we could always get some extra episodes out and everything. We're still going to end the seasons at 50 regardless of where it is. So it's not like, oh, here comes November, season's over. Now we're going to end the season's at 50, so whenever we do hit 50, regardless of when that is, it's over. And then we'll start the new season. And this way also, if, something comes up and we're busy that Saturday morning and stuff like that, and we can't do it, at least we're slowly catching up.
Yeah.
So, and I'm happy with that and everything. It still gives us the ability to have, our time off when we need our time off, and it gives content to the listeners, stuff that we still have, which I'm so grateful that they're still around and hanging out with us and listening to our shows and all that stuff, and I do appreciate all of that. Even at the YouTube channels, still coming in every once in a while, watching the videos and stuff, even though we haven't put something out in a while. But we do have, obviously, Halloween coming up, but I ordered some hot sauces that we're going to try to do something fun with, and that was from a small business. Let's see if I can pull up the information real quick. Elijah, the Elijah's Extreme Hot Sauces, which is a father-son owned business. I'm guessing it became huge on TikTok, because that's at least where I found it. Father-son founded, they got many sauces, they came out with barbecue sauce and shit like that, and there's 6 hot sauces and 2 barbecue sauces, and we're going to try all of them.
Nice.
I'm not sure how we're going to try all of them, like as far as like if we're going to turn it into a game where we're just going to sit at a table and rank and evaluate them and everything, but I'm really excited to try them. And I know I mentioned, actually on the phone yesterday with you, that's like, oh, maybe we could do it on our Wisconsin trip. And I kept thinking to myself, like, I know my body hasn't had the ability to deal with hot sauces like it used to. I'm guessing that's part of growing up. So it's like, do I want to try this hot sauce that is ridiculously high on the Scoville scale, and it has Carolina Reaper and Ghost Pepper. It's 70% pepper, blah blah blah. Ooh. Like, do I really want to eat that and then attempt to have a 14-hour trip around Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, I planned out the trip, and obviously we have to redo it. Well, obviously it has to be redone because one of the cemeteries were wrong. Which, thank you, internet world, for not getting your information right and make me redo the middle of the trip. It's not even the beginning or the end; it's the middle of it. Because you gave me the wrong cemetery, but whatever. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I have this, and it puts me in a sense where it's like, crap, now I gotta stop off something. Because I remember having to stop off
right on
our last trip, and it was just
yeah. Now you're gonna mix in these hot sauces. Yeah.
So it's like, do I really want to do that? But we'll get it figured out. We'll definitely do it and everything.
Yeah.
Because we say it all the time, I do want to put out more content, obviously, and that's how we're doing it. We're doing the double shows a week, so hopefully you guys enjoy 1 episode a week from us, because now you're going to get 2 for the foreseeable future, at least until we catch up. And luckily I math good, so I can keep tabs on when we officially match up, because I can't say it's like, oh, we're only 100 episodes away, or 80, or what the hell is it, 84, or however long until November 1st is from right now. What is that, not 10 weeks?
I don't know. Sounds right.
Yeah, so like, oh, we're only 90 episodes away. We're not always going to be 90. Eventually we're going to be like 87, and then 85, and then 87 again because we miss a week or some goofy shit.
Right.
But we're definitely going to do better at it. I got a call from Sherry last week, or earlier this week. I don't know. My mind's crap. Alan, who listens to our show, brother-in-law, Alan, told her that we thought about having guests on, family members and stuff like that. Yeah. Which we do. That's the plan. GCR, David, a few other people. Those 2 we definitely mentioned, but there's a few other people who I feel have some pretty interesting and cool professions I'd love to talk to. And I want to get those all planned out and everything. And he recommended the Sherry to come on the show and everything. And it's like, how do I say no?
Oh.
Luckily,
Is this how you're saying no? You're going to have him listen to the podcast and then talk?
No. Luckily, she already said no.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, she already said no, and I'm fine with that. Yeah. I mean, I could sit there and I could talk to her about her college degree and everything, or being a single mom. I'm not saying that that's not a profession, because it is.
Oh, stay-at-home mom is like they're the unsung heroes of civilization, really. And I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic. I'm being genuine. Like, the amount of unpaid labor they do, unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I agree with you 100%. But when it comes to Sherry, she is such an easy kid. But, and I don't know. I always see the parts where, I only see the parts when, like, she's over at Mama Carl's house, or their video, calling me and stuff like that. So, like, and, she always seems very easy to handle.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's bad days and, tantrums and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. Kids are kids.
Yeah. But, like from an outside perspective, it looks like Sherry can autopilot her life with her child. And as long as they don't have, a long line at Chick-fil-A, it's a good day. But yeah, single moms, absolutely. I preach about how great I think my mom has been for me, Nick, Sherry, and Ashley before Carl came around and everything, and how she was able to do it. And I know there was a big dispute on what defines a single mom or a single parent. I know we had that discussion here before, and I know some people believe that my definition is completely wrong, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, regardless if they're right or wrong or whatever. I
don't even remember what your definition was. I'm sorry.
A parent who's individually living in a place with a child, regardless if the other parent is involved or not. So, like, my mom had us every other weekend, 2 weeks in the summer. I still go to my dad's. He still, did child support and all that stuff. But my mom was technically still a single mom, because there was no additional secondary parent living in the household. To where other people feel a single mom is somebody who just is the mom, and the father is not in the picture 100%, or vice versa, the dad is the parent and there's no mom 100%. And that's fine. Yeah. If you want to look at it that way, I totally agree 100%. You're entitled to that opinion. In my opinion, my mom was a single mother.
Yeah.
Because for 24 days out of the month, she is just a parent, unless we go out to my dad's every other weekend. Or the entire summer, other than the 2 weeks we were with my dad, we were at my mom's. Now, we still were able to call my dad. I don't want to think that my dad was just, there when you need to be there. He still showed up at sporting events and all that other stuff. But when we were with him, physically sleeping over at his house and stuff like that, it was minuscule compared to the time we were with my mom. Right. And it was just her working 3 jobs. That's what I define as a single mother.
Okay. I think we're more or less in agreement.
Yeah. People tend to disagree because, well, if your dad was still in the picture, she wasn't a single mom. I was like, but they weren't married, they weren't living together.
But he wasn't really in the picture, really.
Yeah. It was
2 separate pictures, separated by like weeks of time.
Exactly. So I always saw myself having a single mom and a single dad, until Carl came into the picture, got remarried. No, she's no longer a single mom because she's not single anymore. That's her marital status. That's what it says on her tax return.
She's a mom who's no longer single. Yeah.
Yeah. So, So it's I mean, talking to anyone about that. I mean, because I got questions about everything, like everything. I wanna ask questions, but like I wanna, and I know enough people in every walk of life where I could ask ignorant fucking questions to. Excuse me. And they would answer them because they know that I'm genuinely curious and I'm not being a douchebag.
Yeah.
I got friends who are gay that I mentioned I would love to have on this show during is it June? June's Gay Pride Month, right?
Yeah.
I'll say I'd love to have them on here and everything to talk about that culture because I don't know a lot about that culture. You know, I only know a few things. Like I get a few things, but like realistically, and this is why it's weird to me, and I don't want to come off ignorant, and I apologize to anyone who feels I do when I about talking about this. Is every time I hear about LGBTQ, I can't remember the last part, A plus or whatever.
IA plus is usually.
IA plus.
Yep.
LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most people just leave it at LGBT. It's fine. So I is for usually intersex. A is for like asexual or aromantic. Q can be queer or questioning, and then plus is like, anybody within reason who doesn't fit within the other categories.
Yeah. See, and here's my problem. In my mind, if I just go LGBT and stop there,
yep,
I feel I come off as ignorant because I'm not taking the time to learn about the other stuff.
Sure.
So like I can sit here and say like, oh, the LGBTQ community, but then like if I get like that one person, that social justice warrior who wants to, it's like you need to accept, appreciate, and state every point of the. It's like, and they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong.
Yeah.
But if I don't know it, and I can admit it, then that
right.
should be enough at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, realistically, like in the beginning, like was it just LBG?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then they added the additional letter to incorporate the additional person, which is fantastic.
Yeah, well, I think it was LGBT actually, because there's trans people have always been there. But I
want to look that up.
Yeah, and it was like LGBTQ. I think is usually Q kind of can encompass anything. Although there are some people who are like, I got called queer as a kid, and so I don't like that word. And I'm just like, yeah, but other people are fine with it. So
I think my earliest recollection is LGBTQ. I think that's my earliest, like when I started learning about it.
Yeah.
The term LGBT is an adaptation of the initialism LGB, which began to replace the term gay or gay and lesbian in reference to the broader LGBT community beginning in the mid to late 1980s.
Huh. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Let's see. Other words I'm not going to say. Mm-hmm. Formed about 1988, activists began to use the initials LGBT. It doesn't say when LGB started. Maybe it was just a shortened version of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I know. I just remember hearing LGB at one point, which at the same time, realistically, I guess. I mean, in a broad spectrum, like very way back in the day. I mean, you could say it started with just G.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was just they're just gay.
Yeah. Is it? Let me ask you this, and obviously you don't know because you're not gay. You're married.
True.
How did the L come before the B? I'm sorry. How did the L come before the G?
I don't know.
You think it's like one of those like ladies first kind of things?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, there we go. Come on,
maybe it was just like they were just like it sounds better or something. Because some people say GLB, and I'm just like that doesn't sound right, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, see, and this is why I would love to have some of my gay friends on here to talk about this. Like,
they might know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Well, because I'm also curious on the fact on why is the L even part of it when the word gay is already there?
Right.
Because in my mind, like, it's kind of like when people like walk into a room and they say like, "What's up, guys?" and it could be a mixture of men and women in there. There's just it's a generic "What's up, guys?"
Yeah.
To me, it seems like gay just covers everybody who's within that sexual preference or whatever it's called, sexual orientation.
Yeah.
And the umbrella term gay, which I figured lesbian fall into, because there isn't like a male dominant term for gay people that's not just gay.
Right. Yeah.
So I was just, so it's things like that I'm always curious about. And here's the thing, dude, like a lot of my friends who are gay, if I ask them that question, they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're very just like.
There's normal people. And that's, I'm not to say that people who know it aren't normal people, but like.
They're everyday people where they just live their life as if like, hey, I'm gay, it's just who I love, not who I am kind of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're funny fucking people too, because the questions I have asked them off air are just goofy fucking questions. But they're questions I would love the answer to, just because I'm genuinely curious about people's lives.
Yeah.
But like I will probably ask them the same questions if they're comfortable with it on here whenever we do have them on. Like, it'll probably be June of next year. And when you hear the questions I've asked, you're going to think, wow, this dude's a fucking idiot. And a lot of other people are going to as well. But the thing is, like, I just don't want to assume anything in life. I generally want to know, X and Y, just curiosity and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of people who like to know that kind of stuff, and I think we're sort of in a unique position to try and find answers to those questions from people who we know who'd be fine answering them. Yeah. So I like that. I honestly think it's great. One of the things that I really hate about today's climate is that, like, it's so hard to ask questions about anything. Like, I can give an example just from last night, and this is about baseball, for fuck's sake.
Perfect.
So I found out that Apple TV has Friday Night Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And so I threw on the Cubs game at the bottom of the last inning, and there was a term that the announcer said where he was like, oh, they've got a pretty good strength of schedule for the rest of the regular season. And I was like, I don't know, in this context, what does strength of schedule mean? And so I texted the GCL group chat, and I got a reply from Nick that was just like, it's exactly what it sounds like. And I was like, but it doesn't sound like anything.
I can honestly tell you, as a baseball fan, I have no idea what the fuck that means.
Right, yeah. It took like 10 minutes to get Ryan to finally text back an answer of like, okay, so for the rest of the season, the strength of schedule refers to like who they're going to be up against the rest of the season. And in the context that the announcer was using it, they have an easier season the rest of the season. All of the people they're up against have worse records than them.
Yeah, see, to me, if I was to say that to somebody, I'd be like, they have a light schedule.
Right.
Because when if you came up to me and says like, say the term again?
Strength of schedule.
Okay. What that sounds like to me is they have a lot of games in a short period of time.
Right.
It sounds like a quantity of games, not the quality of the team they're facing.
Yeah.
But there's always weird terms that people come out with sports and stuff that they used to be called something else. But
right.
when you hear the explanation to it, it makes sense.
Exactly. And like most of the time, in context, I have no problem picking up on a lot of the sports jargon, especially with baseball. I think baseball is one of the most straightforward sports out there. You hit the ball, you run the bases. You catch the ball, you throw the people out. Like, it's simple.
Yeah.
If
you ever want to see, because Ryan's a Cubs fan, isn't he?
He is.
Ask him about the TWTW stat on your next show.
Okay.
And just see if he knows what that is. Because it was the most inspirational yet corniest fucking thing that Huck, who is a former broadcaster for the White Sox, said, because they were talking about like sabermetrics and using like numbers to determine how good a ball player is and everything.
Yeah.
And he's an old school dude. He's just an old school baseball player, broadcaster, and everything like that. And he said, all these numbers are all good and everything, but unless you got TWTW, we don't know how good you are. And
right.
The interviewer's like, TWTW, he's like, the will to win. That's the only stat you need. And I was like, you corny fucking dad joke. But God, that's inspiring.
That's excellent. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's fine. You can be anything in this world, but unless you have the will to strive and succeed, then you're not going to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do feel like baseball is one of those sports where they always talk about, like, the team that wants it more is the one that wins. And I don't really believe that, but it makes a nice story. It makes the narrative of the sport a lot more compelling.
The ambition to win is obviously important in any sport, but you need to have the skill to back it up.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't matter how badly you want to win. If you keep swinging at high outside fastballs and missing, you're not going to get on base.
Yeah.
You know,
I not to jump completely to another topic again, but I started watching this show on Netflix called How to Become a Cult Leader. And the first episode is about Charles Manson. And Charles Manson really wanted to be a rock star. That was his, like, dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted it so badly, but he just wasn't good enough, which is why, you know, he became a cult leader.
Yeah.
Instead. And it's just like, you know, there's a certain amount of it. Doesn't matter how bad you want it. If you can't do it, like, you can't fucking do it. Sorry.
No, I agree with you 100%. It was, it's weird because, to go back real quick and then we can continue to this point. As far as, you said that we have like an intriguing, opportunity or whatever we have to be able to do, you know, ask questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I think you're absolutely right. There's this guy, Steve, who is, he does a wrestling podcast just like I do, but his format's a little bit different. Incredible dude. If you guys like indie wrestling, if you follow Illinois Independent Wrestling, The Power Hour by Steve Aaron, C-Red, Rion Skills, Rachel, go listen to them every Tuesday night. It is fantastic. I do recommend. They do a lot of interviews with wrestlers and stuff. He said something on his past show because I had a situation with a wrestler, and we get into that a little bit on the next show, just because it's a long story, and if I start it now, we're gonna be here forever. Just, long story short, dude thought I was burying him, which you know that because we talked about wrestling verbiage, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, remind me what it is.
Speaking poorly of somebody to not allow them to become popular with the fans.
Gotcha.
And Steve is one of the guys I always go to with opinions and advice and stuff like that. And he heard the conversation on the show and they talked about it. And they mentioned how I'm one of the few people they know that, unapologetically speaks his mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't have that great of a filter and, you know, and it's true. I think I have a pretty decent filter.
Yeah.
When it comes to certain things. But I also have the belief that life is just way too short to second guess and question every little thing you want to say in life. As long as you're being respectful of people, you know, it's okay to say what you want to say. Like I don't want to live in a world where I have to sit here and second guess every little thing I say because it's going to upset 1 out of 100 people.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't want to be that way, and I do my best not to insult.
Right, like I'm not trying to insult the 1 out of 100, but like, you know, if it happens, I'm not worried about it. Hopefully they've listened to the show enough to know that they can come to me and say, hey, I didn't like that you said that. This is why it hurt my feelings, or whatever. And then you'll try not to do it in the future, or you'll say that's stupid. Get over it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, trust me, this burial thing was completely stupid, and dude was 100% in the wrong. I wasn't. Mm-hmm. And anyone who knows commentary and pro wrestling, message me. I will send you the link and the video and everything, and you can listen yourself. And there was no burial whatsoever. He was just having a pity party because I didn't put him over like the star he thought he was. There's just nothing against him. He's not a bad dude. I've never met him, but he was never bad to me. I've never had a negative encounter with him. If I had an encounter at all, that's my problem. I just didn't know who the fucking dude was.
Right.
But it's a longer story than that. But the thing is, like I think I got myself to a point in a lot of people's lives where they know that I am. How the fuck do I put this?
genuine, authentic?
I was thinking like fun-loving, but
oh, gotcha.
What did you say?
I said goofy.
Goofy. I thought you said loopy. I'm like, what?
No.
Like I'm drunk? Like, what the hell? No, it's just like I'm able to sit there and I'm able to make light of certain things with certain groups of people and be fun about it.
Yeah, playful maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, like a couple of my gay friends, where I'm able to sit there with them and joke about gay things with them because they know that it's all just, what's the word, jest?
Good fun, yeah, jest.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not sitting there mocking them for their choices in life. I'm joking with them about things.
Right.
Things that they know that it's fine because I'm not pushing any weird boundary with them. But the thing is now, if I was to do those same types of jokes with other people I have met, and this is going like years ago with, a friend of mine that, I used to be really close with, and, our lives just went off in different paths. There were certain guys that he would hang out in his group, that if I made those jokes, they would instantly, come at me like I was mocking their attack. Yeah, attacking their which is, it's just not true.
Right.
If anyone knows me at all, I don't have an issue with anyone in this world. That's a lie. I have an issue with people who slept with my girlfriend while I was dating them. I have issues with them.
Right. Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with their sexual orientation or race.
Well,
It has everything to do with the fact that they slept with my girlfriend while I was dating them. And it's not that they didn't know, they knew. That's why I don't like them. If they didn't know, I can't fault them. That's on her. But if they knew and they were just doing it because they felt like they can, fuck them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's not that I don't have a filter. It's just, I just enjoy living life. And I know my boundaries. I know where I could go with people.
Yeah.
Like I just know that sometimes, yes, I do go over the line 100%. And I do apologize for it 100%. I had that conversation with, a friend of mine that we had a conversation on Snapchat about me joking about borrowing her for 9 months when she told me to get my own kid. I thought it was funny, but apparently to her it wasn't funny. So I apologized because I didn't know the line changed.
Right.
Because years ago that joke would have just been funny and we could have moved on from it, but the line changed.
Yeah.
So adapt or die.
Right.
So I adapted. Hey, you don't find that funny? I apologize. I thought we were able to joke about it, but we can't. I apologize. Whatever. Yeah. Because people know that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'll sit there and I joke with them, and I have these, there's that line, I never go over it, and I always joke with everybody. And our friends are, what the hell, is that self-deprecating? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. They make fun of themselves?
Yeah, like in shitty ways.
Right.
There's this guy that I call gelatinous fat fuck.
Well.
But they know I'm just fucking with him because I'm a pretty big fucking dude myself. But that's just who we are. But it's just the life we live, we're fine with just, poking fun at each other because we know at the end of the day we're just going to be friends. We're still cool with each other. We're still going to have each other's back.
Right. Absolutely.
But if I said that to him in a group of people who live that new lifestyle of you should never, ever, ever make fun of anybody for any reason whatsoever. Absolutely not. Out of the question. Love, honor, respect, 100% every single day. It's just exhausting. And it's not fun. Like, I want to have fun with my friends. Like, I'm not going to go up to some stranger and call him a gelatinous fat fuck because that's just rude and ignorant and disrespectful. But if it's a friend of mine who I've known for a dozen years.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully he knows that if it does start to bother him, he can come to you and say, "Hey, that's kind of bothering me. You're coming out a little too strong lately."
100%. 100%. 100%. Totally and I tell everybody that if there's a line that is crossed, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't care what people say about me. I really don't. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and like I said this earlier. Regardless if it's right or wrong, you can have your opinion. I don't care. I just ask you to have the same respect for me when I just live my life. Like I said, I'm never going to, overstep that line, Just
right.
Never. I think I built myself, and it's a small group of friends. But I have my group of friends where I'm able to be myself, and they know it. Like they just, okay, well that's just Travis being Travis, you know. He means it to an extent, but he's not meaning it in the way it comes off. So when people around us are like, "What did you just say?" It's like, don't worry about it. But that's how our whole group is. So yeah, I think when I have them, I don't want to say if, but when I have them on, because I definitely want to do that. I want to be able to sit here and have those conversations with them, and I know that they know I'm asking because I am generally curious. Same thing with a coworker of mine who is, he's half black and half white, and he jokes with me all the time about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, all the fucking time. Like, if I call him, I was like, hey, dude, you didn't get the numbers right on this. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. That's the black side of me. Right? I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. Like, God damn it. But he was talking to me about podcasting. He thought about doing his own podcast. And,
nice.
Yeah, we came up with I came up with a really solid fucking name. And I don't want to say it on air because I don't want it to be stolen because it's a solid fucking name. It's a name that doesn't exist. Because I do my research on podcast names and I search them before I decide to use them.
Yeah, you don't just go with like I don't know, like maybe you're looking for that space that's between the black and white where there's a lot of trouble and it's that everything's not so clear, and so you kind of call it something like I don't know, like what's the word for that? Like the gray zone or
yeah, some of that. Yeah, that grayish location.
Yeah.
The gray spot.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. No, I make sure that I 100% make sure that it just doesn't exist because if you start it up, and here's the thing too, like, I don't know how trademarking works and all that shit. If somebody one day decides to put out a show on Fox called This Freakin Show, I guess I no longer have the name. But I still got the website.
Yeah.
So
hopefully they pay you for it. That'd be dope.
God, that'd be solid. I'll change it up. I would just call it That Freakin Show. I don't care.
Right, yeah, I don't care.
As long as the freaking part's there, I really don't give a shit. Right. So everything else is like that. This freaking podcast, that freaking podcast. I don't. Who gives a fuck? As long as the freaking part is there, that's the part that matters. Yeah. Hell, if the money's good enough, I'll just call it This Fucking Show. I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
Like hell's bells. I'll just put a little asterisk where the U's supposed to be.
Yeah, just give me enough that I don't have to make money off of it.
100%. But he was talking about his own show, which is actually very similar to Sarge's podcast. But
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that kind of show. It's just there's like 40 podcasts with that name.
Yeah, true. He wants to do a show that's very similar to what Sarge is doing, except it's more based on it's not as political. It's more about the social economy or society. It's more about it's more about what's going on in society outside of I guess it's not politically heavy focus, but it's utilizing some politics to represent some of the things going on in society. This show's about to wrap up. I'll tell you as soon as we're done here because it's a solid name for a show.
Yeah,
100%. You would hate it.
I would hate the name of the show?
No, you'll love the name of the show. I just don't think you'll like the show.
Gotcha.
Sarge won't like the show. I think it's a very small niche group of people that would like this show. And I can explain to you when we get
well, niches, that's like, that's your bread and butter. If you can get, if you can get the 100 people who want to listen to that to give you, $100 a month or whatever, even $10 a month, that'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's why we do good here, because we don't really niche it too much. I mean, if you want to say that the niche of this show is like content creators,
yeah,
we do half of that. Like when we get people on here talking about the things that they create, absolutely. Mostly it's just bullshit and talking about whatever happens to pop up. Like I did have an idea of what I wanted to talk about today, and we never got to it. But we'll just talk about it on the next show. Yeah. Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
Ooh, great question. I am. The challenge for me is on Saturday morning, I'm not freaking thinking about anything because it's Saturday. No. This week I went and saw I saw Oppenheimer, in the 70 millimeter IMAX, which is like the really special format it was specifically shot for. And so, if you want to hear all about it, you can go over to Geekcast Live. We talked about it a lot, this week. But, yeah, it was a really great movie. I don't know if it was worth it to drive 3.5 hours to Grand Rapids and 3.5 hours back from Grand Rapids to watch it in the special format. Chicago, get your shit together, please, and reopen the IMAX down at Navy Pier so I don't have to do that again.
Is that not open?
No, it closed for the pandemic, and they're not planning to reopen it. They're going to make it something else, and I'm kind of mad about it. But yeah, great movie, really good movie. Good enough movie that I ended up like finding the book that it was based off of and listening to the audiobook on the way back. Just from the local library, but if you wanted your own audiobook, go to audibletrial.com/freaknet and, get a free 30-day trial. We're not like seeking that out really hard, but if that's something you want to do, yeah, it's called American Prometheus. It's a great book. But anyway, yeah, so it was a really good movie, very, ambiguous and just a real thinker of a film. It is, I believe, rated R. It's not a family movie. So, don't be one of the people who are like, there are 3 sex scenes in this film and Florence Pugh's boobs are here and there's the size of Volkswagens on my eyes.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You still talking about Oppenheimer?
Yep.
There are sex scenes in Oppenheimer?
Oh yeah.
Oppenheimer, that's the atomic bomb shit, right?
Yep. Yeah, he was a womanizer. That's among the things that he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh's in that show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Dang.
Yep. You see her boobs a lot in it, to be honest with you.
I do like her. I think they did a really good job with her, incorporating her into the Marvel universe. I do like her.
I think she's fantastic.
Plus, Fighting with My Family, she was also great in.
Yeah. But anyway, it's not a family movie. Don't take your family to see it. It's rated R, you dummies.
I always wondered why Colin went to go watch that movie twice. Now it makes more sense.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah,
it is a good movie.
Culture, I guess.
Yeah. I'm planning to go see it again, not because of Florence Pugh, but just I think it was a really good movie, and I really want to watch it again and think about it more. So
Florence Pugh. Yeah, I can't say nothing. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you freaking thinking about this week?
Well, first off, what I'm thinking about right now is Florence Pugh's boobs, but that's Florence pubes, but it just sounds like pube. So that's what I'm thinking about this immediate moment. But what I was thinking about actually was our phone call yesterday about the wrong cemetery thing.
Oh, yeah.
About how all this research I was doing, I come to find out that it's the wrong cemetery I had found. So I'm going to take this weekend to look over. I was going to do it yesterday. I got home. I went to the gym. I got home from the gym. I showered. I laid down. I was just like, I'm just done for the day. So I didn't get a chance to look at it all yesterday. But yeah, one of the cemeteries that I thought was going to be on our trip is actually the wrong cemetery. And because of that, I got to figure out what we're going to do as far as adding a cemetery or adding a location, especially since the fact that I believe this was the location that we were supposed to hit right before the cemetery. Mm-hmm. I don't really feel like I'm missing a sheet of paper. I do not have good organizational skills. That's my problem in life. That's where I fall short because I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I just gotta figure out, what we're gonna do as far as here it is. It says Pioneer Rest, right?
Yes.
Yep, see, no, that was the second to last one of the first day, so we still got to go out of our way. So, yeah, I got to figure out what to do. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. it'll be interesting, but yeah, it just sucks that the cemetery I really want to go to, which as I said on the phone call, like the two absolutes I want to do are just way too far out of the way. In order to do those two, we'd have to add an additional day just for those. Oh. And it just the time just won't allow it. All the other things that need to be done, plus all the editing of all the footage and stuff needs to be done before October, and that'll leave me about 2 weeks to do it. So, yeah. So it just sucks that one of the cemeteries wasn't the right one, and there's no point in going to the cemetery we were going to go to because there's no haunted history about it, and it's not really an old cemetery anyways. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and like I said, I'm going to kind of spend this weekend to try to figure out some things on that aspect and get that figured out. So yeah, just more October shit.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if a week of cartoon, or an hour of Cartoon Joe a week just isn't enough for our viewers, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Perfect. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just by searching This Freakin' Show. And you can find us wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it be iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, Twitter, Podbean. Stitcher is officially shutting down, so you can't listen to us there anymore. But if you listen to us at Stitcher, you can find us anywhere else just by searching This Freakin' Show. Make sure you do subscribe and hit the notification bell to let us know that you love the show. That's all I got, guys. As always, I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin' Show. I'm out.
Nice.